I wake up and I wonder what the hell I want to read today. A shooting or some looting, people rooting either side away. Maybe a murder that I heard of, they try to justify the dread. Makes me wanna turn around, drag myself right back in bed.
This content is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained on here constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by Draper Goren Holm or any third-party service provider to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments whatsoever.
Well, I've been a blockchain boozer for 96 long weeks. I've spent all my money on shitcoins and NFTs. We've bet our life savings on these chains that are made of blocks. But it's Tuesday night, buddy. I'll have my nifty spirits on the rocks. Another chain launches, another boring stone airdrops. Transactions per second, decentralized Sailor Gary shots. Gary V was a rad guest and Alon's a mediocre host. And there's no crypto without community, and this is the one I love the most. So welcome to the newbies, and welcome to old friends. This brutal week in crypto can feel like it never ends. Kind of like this song. But we're gathered on this live stream for another blockchain and booze show with the legends from Nifty Spirits and Liquid Craft. So let's fucking go. Boom! We are live. Woo! Had to give you guys love in that version. Guys, welcome to Blockchain and Booze. It's week 96. 96 weeks straight we've been doing this. So just gonna let everyone know who's watching. Week number 100, we already have some surprises coming. So few more weeks for that, but I'm super excited for this one. We've got the guys from Nifty Spirits, but also Zach here from. Tell me the name of your project again. I just said it in the song.
Liquid Craft.
Liquid Craft. And I mean, I've had 2 sips of this and I'm already forgetting everything. But I joked with everyone that this is going to be the most premium episode of the of Blockchain Booze. And yes, David just said yes. It's John Dorfman, Vodka King, aka Sailor Gary, here with us today. Really, really excited. Before we jump into everything, if you're watching this on one of the live streams, jump into meet.blockchainbooze.io so you can jump into the ask questions in the QA and have some fun with us live in the system. Otherwise, enjoy watching it on one of the streams or on Blockchain Radio or on Lunar Crush, which is really, really really awesome. Welcome to the show, guys. Really excited to have you.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Alon.
Good to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you.
I need to ask, because this is like a booze themed, I've been not putting as much pressure on the what drink people are having and stuff like that for the most part, just because, like, I don't know, it feels weird being a little peer pressury or, you know, let everyone do their thing. But because this is, you know, you guys are all booze guys, I need to know. And I can see what you guys are kind of doing backstage while the song was going. I have like little thumbnail, like tiny versions of you guys. I saw Zach, you pulled out a bottle while we were, it looked like you pulled out some bottle of something. So
yeah, sure did.
Tell us what you're drinking and where you're joining from.
So we're in beautiful Fort Collins, Colorado, and I'm drinking some of the cask strength bourbon from the Heart Distillery.
Nice. John, what's cheers. John, what do you have over there?
I am drinking a premium punch, which is premium vodka, of course. And the recipe hopefully will be coming out in a little bit in the Fame Lady Squad recipe book. So keep your eyes peeled.
Ooh, that's pretty
Sweet.
Awesome. We've got to do an episode just on that soon. And I gotta remind me when we're not online on one of these things to get in touch with them, because that's gonna be awesome. Mike, what are you drinking? I saw you had something fancy.
I'm drinking a little G&T with a cucumber, which is my go-to.
Nice. When you're drinking, hanging out, like you'll like just the cucumber is you'll actually go through the effort of doing it right.
If I have it, I don't always have it. I notice. So sometimes it's just straight up.
It's like people going to the market. Don't forget your limes so you can make your drinks, but you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, good gin. You know, if it's not like a barrel aged gin, you're probably looking for, you know, a nice cucumber to kind of express it a little bit more. You know, a lime, you know, with all the acidity will kind of bury a lot of things, which is sometimes why people, you know, go for it. You know, kind of rounds things out.
But we all
you're saying that I'm hiding the bad flavor of my, you know, crappy cheap beer with putting the lime in it.
No, some drinks, you know, you go way better.
Or just a crappy tequila or something.
I think it comes down to each his own, right? Drink what you like.
100%.
That makes too much sense. So, hey guys, we're Rachel said pinky up. I had to do it. So guys, let's start with Zach. I want to hear about what you're working on, you know, how it ties to the blockchain and all that. I've got some thoughts and questions for everyone, but I don't want to just start. You're the sort of Mike, have you actually, John, you've come on to Blockchain Booze like for moments here and there, and you're a regular, and Mike, you're a regular in the crowd. You haven't been on yet. And
this
Zach,
is the first time on the show. I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have you guys. But so Zach, I would love for you to start as the sort of most recent friend on the show and tell us what you're working on and how it works. Because I know you can. Your website is up and minting.
Yeah. So first off, thanks for having us. This is absolutely ecstatic. When John and Mike reached out saying that could I be on a panel to be on the show, we were ecstatic. No other way to say it than that. But yeah, what we're working on right now, I'm a distiller and a brewer, have been for the last 9 years. And about a year ago, NFTs kind of blew up. as everybody kind of knows. I mean, it's been a work in progress for the last few years, but last year we kind of wanted to integrate our business model, being the distillery and brewery, into crypto. And the best way to do it, in my opinion, right now is NFTs. Obviously, a lot of great utilities coming through them and everything, great value behind them. So we came up with the idea of liquid craft because, again, we are a small distiller and also a small brewer, the Heart Distillery and High Hops Brewery in Windsor, Colorado. And so how can we couple these two together? Again, liquid craft. Liquid craft is going to be an NFT marketplace where distilleries, wineries, and breweries, who we're calling crafters, can couple their product, like a bottle or a barrel, to an NFT and then sell it on the secondary market. Somebody wise told me once it's kind of like the open sea for alcohol.
Nice.
The main point of this is to bring power to the small crafters around the world, really, because so many of us, especially in COVID times, don't get out and be seen by a global audience. And then the secondary factor is kind of legitimizing a secondary market that's already in place with collectors and investing spirits, beer, and wine. So that's kind of liquid craft in a nutshell. And as Alon had said just a minute ago, we're minting right now on our website, liquidcraft.io. That's our initial launch for the Heart Distillery. We're kind of using it as a R&D project, but also kind of your first. It's kind of like a membership NFT into everything whiskey on liquid craft.
Nice. So yeah, that's what I was going to ask is what do you get with that NFT? It's sort of a membership to the service, to the site.
One, it's that. It's also you also get a bottle of bourbon of only 750 that'll ever be made, and then also you'll be eligible for our native currency called the craft token. You'll be eligible for an airdrop or 3 airdrops with the purchase of an NFT. So there'll be extra value added to it. It's kind of like our way into the crypto space.
Nice. Very cool. Nice. So, John, why don't you tell us about Nifty Spirits, Spirit Punks, and Premium and everything you guys have going on? Because I think it goes really well with all this stuff.
Yeah. So, I've been on here, some of the regulars are more familiar with my background. My other business partner and I have a distillery in California. We're basically entrenched in this consumer packaged good world for the last 3 years or so. Our background was in physics and ethanol research. That's actually where we met about a decade ago. And I was actually talking at a Bitcoin meetup in Sacramento last night and talking about how my friend introduced Bitcoin to me in 2011. And at the same time I had met, getting to know my now current distillery partner. And we got excited about this, as, data enthusiasts and, cryptography enthusiasts. We said, hey, there's some really cool utility here and, third-party decentralized trust, all the kind of nerd stuff about this. And we actually set up a meeting with our, a scientist meeting at our research lab and presented like some of the utility cases of Bitcoin, ultimately to try to convince our lab to buy some Bitcoin miners we were looking at. But, of course we were shut down, but, longtime enthusiasts, we hadn't really done a ton in the space. We started our distillery 3 years ago. We ended up kind of acquiring some of the laboratory assets, and with our expertise and research background, we were able to launch, some really incredibly smooth distilled spirits. But we've, nonetheless been considering, how do you grow this faster? Anyone starting a business or anyone who knows, anyone who's made or sold something, so of course they're looking, how do you growth hack this? How do you make it move faster? How do you make it more relevant? How do you keep it relevant? And long story short, we said, hey, we have this beautiful craft vodka. Actually, it's over here. South Fork vodka. My wife did the artwork for us, so it's precious to us, and we've won a bunch of awards and whatnot. But you're like,
wait, bring it back. Remember, I figured this thing out earlier. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
We were goofing with this.
I love it.
Looks great.
Yeah, and you know, if you're a vodka fan, it's one of the better vodkas in the world, and you know, but we don't ultimately care if people are like, oh, do you drink? I don't drink vodka, and I'm like, don't drink vodka. You know, like we're not trying to make more vodkas, you know, but if you're drinking vodka, you might as well drink good local stuff. And you know, long story, how do you keep it relevant? What makes something relevant? We thought, hey, let's make some memes. Let's make some jokes. If you know, we were thinking about some crypto related memes. We said, can we accept crypto if we're going to do that? You know, keep it on point. No, you know, the kind of infrastructure isn't there. Shopify, Stripe hasn't integrated the utility yet. And you're like, maybe we should make some NFTs. You know, this is last November, December. You know, people are like, oh, cool. You know, like these art pieces, and you're like learning about this dimensional layer, you know, on the Ethereum blockchain. And we're like, yeah, that'd be fun. We could like make some memes, and it comes with a piece of art, and you know, just being part of Blockchain and Booze, and also doing our own research, we started to just realize the utility of NFTs, you know, in a kind of mind-blowing way. You know, this really moves, you know, NFTs really move art from a single dimensional piece of interface to this huge multi-dimensional new type of, you know, CRM, new type of way to, you know, capture and interface and build community and really kind of lead cause direction. So we really started Nifty Markets and Nifty Spirits kind of as a utility showcase to help build the bridges on both sides of consumer packaged goods. You know, we said it went from, for us, you know, on the distillery side saying, hey, we should definitely incorporate some NFTs. You know, we're longtime blockchain enthusiasts anyways, to, oh my goodness, this is, you know, this style of utility, or, you know, the layers of the onion you can peel back to discover, you know, how to recapture and re-engage and redirect consumer attention, and the power that actually re-bestows back on consumers to lead the direction of consumption, was just something that we couldn't ignore, you know. So we really are excited to build this bridge. It's more of a question, you know, of not if, you know, NFTs will be adopted, but when. It's kind of, you know, I think I mentioned it last time, you know, you ask an auto mechanic in 98, you know, where's your website? And they say, why would I have a website? You know, and flash forward, it's because you need one, because in the future from now, you'll need one. And so, you know, I saw a great quote on Twitter the other day. It's not mine, but you know, you don't judge a book by its cover. So why would you judge an NFT by its JPEG? You know, because really it's so much more. It's so much beyond, you know, this notion of, oh, what's my next 10K project? What's the next flippable asset? It's really the way, you know, it's going to change how communities are built, businesses are formed, you know, shares in companies and direction in companies are decided, or direction in products. So we're just really excited to build some of these assets. We were talking to Charlotte Sells from Mandavi, who actually connected us with Zach, just talking about who's putting the effort forward in this space to really kind of move the needle. And it's just a kind of a reminder, you know, how early we are, but we're really excited also about this space to like collaborate and work together. So,
well, I think one of the things that's really, really funny and great about this space, and like, you know, some of this shit in general, like we all, when spaces are really early, when things like blockchain are going on, where it's like there's a certain level of people that are in it for like the hype, and a certain amount of people are in it because it's just like they have to be here. But like one of the jokes I was making this week, which I think is pretty great, our good friend of the show and a friend of mine named Ryan, he goes by Zuda online. He's like a really, really killer engineer, and he does like security audits, and he's done shit for like governments and for big groups and companies, and he's done like all sorts of blockchain development, stuff like that. But he's choosing to spend his time building something called Pooptopia. right? Like this dude is like in demand. People would pay him lots of money to do security audits, but that's what he's doing. And
memes, right?
when you were
Memes
talking
are
about
money.
being like a chemist and shit, and you're like, and you're working on meme inspired spirits, it just makes me so happy. Mike, I want to get your background too, because I know you've been in the space for a while, and you're a partner with John. But
Yeah,
Mike, give
for
us
sure.
your background.
So my background, for the most part, is actually in marketing and communications, and kind of establishing, up and coming brands, and then dealing with big corporate companies when they have a problem and they're, trying to deal with a crisis, whether it's something internal, external, or working on things like executive positioning. Making bigwigs look good, which was fun for a little while, but kind of I've had my foot dabbled in the space with John for the better part of 4 or 5 years now, just kind of as an investor, watched it from afar. And then we sat here early together, at the start of 2021, when kind of everything in this space was blowing up in terms of NFTs, and said, God, I wish we got involved in 2016. God, I wish we got involved in 2018. And we're sitting here in 2021, like, there's no time like the present. We're still so incredibly early. And that's, that statement has proven true over and over and over again over the last year. So just to kind of start to throw these pieces around in the space and see, what's possible to be built, what could be built. And as John said, we really approached this initially to say, looking at how we're building this spirits brand, like, what if you tied an NFT to it? What could we do with that? And then it became we have to tie an NFT to it, because this is going to happen, no matter what. Every brand is going to do this in a matter of years here. And I think, like everyone, we've had these moments over the last year where it was just like, oh my God, and you could do this, and there's this utility, and there's this application. And it's just such an exciting time in the space, because there's a new door that opens every other week. So we sit here and we say, what is the utility that NFTs could have for a spirits company? And then we, step back from that and say, well, how could you actually onboard people into Web3 through consumer packaged goods? We're starting with spirits because it's something we know how to do and know how to do well, but really we see this as an avenue to bring, everyone out there into this space through a package that they're going to go buy no matter what anyway. Why won't everything have an NFT that comes with it in a matter of years? And our bet is that it certainly will.
Yeah, I mean, add on that, just watches, coffee, cups, shirts, glasses.
Well, here we go. This is the Board Breakfast Club, the one that I grabbed because it has a Punk Ape Strong magazine on the table. So I had to make sure that I minted a bunch of them and ran around on OpenSea till I found one with that cover. But that again, that was I essentially bought like 6 or 7 coffee subscriptions when I bought those, right? And now you guys are doing it with booze in different ways. But I think it's I think the value probably comes in these sort of communities and in these ways where there are more gatekeepers, right? So I think when it comes to booze and stuff like that, there is sort of a little bit more in the way. Like there's locally, everybody knows of like a few craft breweries. Actually, one that I loved here in town where I live went out of business this week, right? And whenever I talk to folks that are doing those businesses, the hardest part is distribution and sales and things like that. This kind of flips it into the new world, right? Where it doesn't matter where you are in the world, doesn't matter if the craft brewer you like is in another corner of the world, you can get access through this way and through mail order and stuff like that. So have you guys as distillers yourselves, hit those brick walls? Is this a way around it, or is this just a different distribution model? You still have to comply with rules and laws, right? If it's mail order, it's still the same, right? I assume.
Quite a few rules and laws.
Can I jump in on this one?
Yeah.
A little bit. So the idea isn't necessarily to change anything and go around it. It's more of to revolutionize the industry that's already in existence. And to kind of piggyback off of the distribution and networks that all these crafters, again, wineries, breweries, and distilleries, whom what we're calling crafters, kind of utilize that, right? Utilize the networks that are already in place. At least that's how I view it. And then, like I said, just evolve it into a way that, the crafters, manufacturers can actually engage the consumer directly. That's one thought process on it. And it's slowly moving that way. From the few people I've talked to. John, you're smiling. Do you have something to add?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry, guys. No, it's you need to be building this inside of, optically compliant infrastructure. And that is a challenging space because it's really, really old, rigid infrastructure that has a lot of variation moving, from one state to the other, one jurisdiction to the other. For example, there's 17 or 18 states that have state-run liquor programs. There's certain states that allow producers in the state to distribute, but need to distribute. There's this whole notion of three-tier compliance. But what's really wonderful kind of about different, the kind of blockchain revolution is that it is such a disruptive, dynamic, new layer of kind of thought and creativity, because you have on two sides of an NFT, you have the actual Solidity contract and then this actual written contract and all the creativity that comes in that structure. It allows for, new ways to kind of really critique the existing structures. It will, I think, in the future raise really great kind of, legal or, practical arguments for, better lobbying positions to really kind of make the end user experience and the reasoning behind the infrastructure valuable. If you're saying, okay, we have these rules in place, we have, to protect producers or protect consumers, what's the real intention of that? I don't think it's captured very well because the system itself is 100 years old. But I think blockchain innovation because it allows for different types of consumer business interaction and engagement, really allows for just new creativity in the space, both on the artistic side, both on the production side, but also on this kind of legalese side. And so it's, it's like anything else. It's new territory in the space. You have IP considerations. You have, what did Bored Apes do when they said, you get all the commercial rights and IP over your ape? How well is that contract written? Is that enforceable? It certainly hasn't been litigated well. So, but it's a profound statement nonetheless, and it really forces a new style of thinking. It forces a new, analysis. So that's kind of what we're excited to see.
I think like, Punk Ape Strong needs something, right? Like a Punk Ape Strong whiskey, a Punk Ape Strong something. Guys, you get it. We're going to have to make something happen. Look, he's on I'm just going to try to invoke some FOMO. He's on a magazine on a table that gets you coffee. I mean, come on, guys. He needs to step it up. But in all seriousness, like it is a whole different ball game. It is a different world. We talk about communities in crypto a lot, especially when we are looking at Lunar Crush and we're looking at data and we're looking at like how community can create a brand that's not even owned by someone, right? Like Dogecoin, right? Like it's one of the biggest online communities in the world and one of the most recognizable brands in the world right now. They talk about it on Fox Business and CNN Business and Bloomberg and shit like that. And it was literally created as a joke, right? So the value of community is so huge. You guys sort of creating your brand in the community and kind of going along with what the memes are doing and things like that. It's fucking exciting. It's really cool. And it's totally different than what anyone's doing.
I think it's fun to look at, there are going to be brands that are going to say, hey, we can use NFTs to really discover new community, discover new styles of interaction. Look what, Adidas is doing. Look what Nike is doing. Walmart's making their own cryptocurrency. So does that make Walmart more hipper? Kind of. I don't know. You'll never see me get smart, but no, that's just
Mixed feelings.
There's some good.
Well, did you guys see the joke today? So I actually was joking because this morning McDonald's posted some Grimace coin comment, joking and responding to Elon Musk. And I literally responded to it, or to one of the people who shared it, going like, "Oh shit, I need to go scour Uniswap to buy some of this right now." And I was joking about it, but I knew it was going to happen. And then literally right when we were coming live on this thing, so I'm too late to the game, so I'm not going to participate in this crazy joke because I actually don't normally participate because it's a game of hot potato, and then somebody loses big if you win big, so it just sucks. But like the dude, the literally Wall Street Bets chairman guy was tweeting about it on Twitter and showing charts from Uniswap like 2 minutes ago. And it's just like, oh shit, like it is going to blow up. And McDonald's stupid joke is going to turn into like $100 million market cap joke.
Right.
But like who's going to launch Grimace coin gin tomorrow? Right. I don't know. I'm just making shit up, but like it's a thing, and it would be a funny thing to memorialize. And something I need to mention though, like I keep looking at it. John, tell us more about, it says vodka of the year on your thing. So I want to make it clear too to people that, like, I know Zach, you've been doing this for like 10 years. You guys are all legit distillers. Like you didn't just come here like chasing like, you know, something and you're in the space. But like, I know that John, you guys have won a bunch of awards and stuff like as a distillery, right? Yeah.
I mean, we have some insight because of we were working under a handful of DoD contracts and in what, you know, basically ethanol remediation. So we target some of the more elusive trace compounds and selectively reduce those. It makes it super smooth. And yeah, we got Vodka of the Year in San Francisco Bartender Spirits Awards last year. We got USA Today's Reader's Choice #1 craft vodka distillery this year. But it's great to plug our vodka, you know, but we're really excited, more so than just making great vodka, is the ability to kind of revolutionize how consumers interface with goods. So, I mean, this premium itself is kind of a joke on our other brand in the sense that, you know, this is a 97-point vodka already, and it's $22 on the shelf in California, where this is around $42.69. But it, of course, memes, and it's I don't know if you can read that, but it's a premium vodka, and it's actually a limited edition brand. We partnered with the Truckee Tahoe Humane Society to basically create a bunch of, it's like $10 a bottle, and it comes with a limited edition NFT, which is under this Peel to Mint QR code, which is for us really both a utility showcase for how nonprofits can generate ultra low overhead revenue that is potentially continuous, which we think is really awesome and something where
can you get one of these? Are these being sold online right now?
Yeah, these are, I think there are a couple online retailers. I'm not sure if they're ported through our site. We're not selling them directly ourselves online, but they're in about 60 retailers. I think you can go to southforkvodka.com/premium and see locations where they're available. And it's a limited edition run. We're excited because it has this, you know, all elusive first of world, you know, it's one of the first consumer package products to come with an NFT. So, you know, if you're sitting there and you're a Humane Society lover, or you're a vodka and you enjoy nice vodka, you might be, you know, my grandmother might have accidentally bought one at, you know, in the grocery store, and that might be her first NFT. So it's for us, it's important to say, hey, you know, how do you build this bridge from both sides? You know, I can, you know, I think it's valuable to appeal to the crypto community because they understand the value in, you know, owning NFTs and what it means for, you know, the technology itself and the kind of dollar value that exists in the space. That's why they're in the space. But there's most people in the world say, what are these NFTs? What is this? Is this art? Is this a JPEG? Why would I buy JPEGs? Why would I care? And It really is way more than that. You know, you might sit here and you're like, wow, I have a limited edition. I have this bottle that I've just drank the bottle of, but I kept it on my shelf because I thought it was funny or it was cool or it reminded me of the Humane Society. And then 2 years, 3 years from now, I realize I didn't even know maybe when I bought this, but I have this cool limited edition Humane Society piece of art. And if I trade it, the Humane Society gets, you know, all the royalties from that. And, you know, is this something that we're going to jump? Why NFTs? Why charity? Why all at once? It's because we get to showcase these new utility layers. And we, as, you know, partnering with the Humane Society for this project, also get to say, hey, you know, where are our dog lovers? Where are our vodka dog lovers combos? You know, where are our local people in Northern California at the time we released this in 2020 or late 2021, early 2022? You know, the Humane Society can, after the fact, come in and say, hey, if we're hosting an event and we want to reward our legacy art holders and our legacy, you know, community members, this is our first NFT. You know, it's a cool, you know, incredibly dimensional resource tool for how brands can engage, how communities can engage. You know,
I think that's a big part of it, is like re-engagement is really exciting and more easily doable here, right? Like there are things about crypto that make it hard to engage, right? Like if we're going to be real, that's like, you don't know exactly how to communicate with somebody holding something in a wallet, but you could drop something to them. And depending on who that person is, and if you engage your community, you could actually know. Like I know I have the ETH addresses of over 1,000 people who've attended Blockchain Booze in the past. And they have received airdrops from me, right? And they've received things and they get rewarded. And it's just a fun, cool thing we can do. And I can communicate with them because I actually have their email addresses and stuff. It's not totally available yet, but it's going to happen more and more here, and more messaging products will exist. But that is kind of crazy, right? Because if people are buying into this because they love the Humane Society can know that to reward these people and have them come to an event or do something, because they know they'll probably, you know, re-up or donate again and support the cause, right? It's a different way of
we've had some really, really interesting conversations in kind of the whole development of this idea. In talking to some of these nonprofits, there's a couple that are on the right side of the curve here, but there's the majority, I would say, that we've talked to that we, you know, have kind of broken this idea down of like, here's how you can engage your donors. Here's how you can engage your community. How, you know, you can bring people back for the next round of, here's what we're doing now. Here's how you can be involved. Here's how you can support simply by holding something. By, you know, having an NFT in your wallet, you're a part of our donor community, and that's actually what that means. And you know, when those dots connect in these conversations that we've had, you know, from a nonprofit level, to see you can actually really move a needle on, you know, cause direction of these organizations and how they can make, you know, a bigger impact in their missions, which is, you know, from a personal standpoint, you know, myself and John, you know, our personal standpoint, we look at things like that, and like that's actually what matters to us on kind of more of a moral level, is like how can you actually do good by doing, or, you know, do well by doing good.
It's exciting. I mean, it completely, you're redefining distribution models. There's a bit of, you know, membership, right? Like we've touched it in the past, and people have joked with it. I mean, my son saw it before I did. He made his poopoo.eth membership cards like almost 2 years ago now, like, which is kind of mind blowing, right? And he used that to like airdrop stuff to people, and that was like rudimentary, but like that generation, right, gives a shit way more about digital things than real things. We still love our old comic books or baseball cards or vodka bottles that are sitting on a shelf, right? But he cares, like you throw a Pokemon card at him, he's obsessed with it. He loves it. But you tell him that you got him some Robux or something digital or something like that, he's way more into it. And it's way more meaningful to him. And NFTs are a big deal to them. So it's really cool. It's where the future is clearly going. Zach, I want to hit up on you guys, because you're doing it as a brand yourself with your bottle and doing some R&D yourself. But I think kind of the future of your platform is to enable more, future spirit punks or future premiums to launch there. Probably more like the local distillers and brewers around the world, right? To kind of that maybe aren't as familiar or crypto native as these guys do their thing. Is that 100%. How I understand it? Is that?
Yeah, totally. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the whole conversation that we've been having with kind of legitimizing NFTs and also onboarding more people and educating. Really, we'd started off by saying, "Oh, this is gonna be really cool," because everybody has to be able to see this awesome utility that NFTs and spirits can go hand in hand. But as we kind of did some research, very, very few people actually understand how it works, and so now it's educating and onboarding more people. So we've actually become more of just like a launch pad for crafters to start with the ultimate goal becoming the marketplace for the crafted spirits, wine, and also beer in the future. It's revolutionizing the whole industry, and then also bringing kind of a asset-backed NFT to the space, right? And you can do that with all kinds of different things in this world, but a lot of things that captivate people's mind and imaginations are spirits and wine, really. And then going back to your guys' previous conversation about community, I don't know, in the last 10 to 20 years, one of the biggest community gathering places were breweries. Where are you going? When you go to a lot of people when they went to a town to visit relatives or whatever, you'd go to a brewery. Or even a brewery would be one of your biggest places where they hold fundraisers and drives. And so the ability for drinks, social drinks, to captivate people's imagination and excitement is out of this world. And I think that John and Mike are on a huge thing with motivating with nonprofits and everything. And again, it's not onboarding everybody onto this. It's a huge task, and it's overwhelming, but because the possibilities are so high and all over the place. But really, like, simplifying our processes on onboarding right now is kind of the biggest challenge. And the biggest excitement too, because you get to talk about this. You have to wear two different hats. You wear one hat talking to crypto enthusiasts, and then you wear another hat talking to people who don't really know a whole lot about it, but they know a lot about spirits. At least that's my conversations. And sorry if I'm talking really fast. I'm getting really excited. So
I love it. I do the same.
Yeah, actually, Zach and I were talking last week, and we were also talking about all the incredible layers of supply chain transparency. Utility that also comes with this space, and not just spirits and wine, which is a powerful one, and beer, but also all royal luxury goods and watches, and this authenticity. Where are these parts coming from? What does the supply chain look like? You can make an NFT and say, this was bottled on this day. This was a vintage on this. This is the mash bill for the whiskey that we're making. This is the grain was sourced. And, consumers want that, consumers get to ask for that now. Corporations and companies are going to have to stop looking at, the buyers as customers. They have to be community members, because once everyone realizes through this project or this project that the utility is available, they're going to demand it be implemented in every other project. That's this powerful decentralization. That's what's, I mentioned earlier, we gave this speech back in, at our scientist meeting back in 2011 or 2012. And trying to convince people the utility of blockchain. Here it is. It's in your ability to communicate, the ability to, play to earn, participate to earn, vote to earn. You can target new categories of people. Look what LooksRare did with, their token targeting. They're going to say, hey, who are the most likely people to engage? Who are the most capable to engage? You're going to target OpenSea users, and you're going to build a $1 billion market cap in 25 days. It's a new world.
Also by rewarding them, those community members to receive, because I was getting messages from people saying not just like the normal, like, hey, go claim that airdrop before it's too late. I was getting messages from people saying, go claim your looks rare and stake it as soon as possible so you can get a piece of the royalties. Yeah. They basically were, most people are saying go claim it because they want to like hook up a friend and tell them to go make a few bucks. In this case, there was actually something to do with it, and they're rewarding the community members.
Well,
and basically
engaged to earn.
Well, those same people are sending me links to NFTs to purchase and stuff on LooksRare. Really? When literally the day before, they were sending me links to OpenSea multiple times a day.
In order to claim it, you had to go list in NFT. You had to actually go engage with their platform. So that's my son listed a bunch of poo-poo.eth memberships.
Hey guys, before we keep going, I want to remind everyone that if you're watching on one of the streams, go to meet.blockchainbooze.io, because for the last 15 minutes or so, I'm going to grab questions from there. And when we're done, if you want, you'll be able to turn on your camera, join people at tables and talk and hang out and shoot the shit if you want to. So it's pretty fun. We got a good crew back there right now, and we got a bunch of questions already. I actually want to jump into one of them here. Actually, this is interesting. Let's start with this one first, actually. So I think we touched this already earlier when I asked about sort of circumventing regulation versus hitting it head on kind of thing. But Crispin asked, are you guys using traditional distribution and regulation like ABC and all that?
Yeah,
100%.
You have to. I mean, especially mixing alcohol and blockchain. You're gonna be getting a couple extra microscopes looking at you. So
yeah, I just had a call with somebody earlier yesterday, I think it was, and they were talking about banks and blockchain and crypto, and I was laughing because I was like, we have our conference, right? We have our conference every year, LA Blockchain Summit. And throwing it up here, by the way.
Sweet.
But LA Blockchain Summit, we changed the name of, because it was originally Crowd Invest Summit. Then we changed it to Crypto Invest Summit and LA Blockchain Summit and all that stuff. Like, it evolved over time. But when it was called Crypto Invest Summit, we were thinking about changing the company name. And somebody at the bank told us that if you have crypto in the name, they're going to close our bank account. And we're like, we don't touch crypto. We're a conference business. People pay with dollars, and we're just a normal US dollar bank account. We don't do any crypto services, nothing crypto other than it's in the name. This is the name of the conference. They're like, doesn't matter. Crypto's in the name, your bank account will be closed. And so we never officially change the name of the company. It's just so dumb how stuff like that works. I would assume you guys are under a major microscope. Zach, Crispin also had a question for you, actually, because you mentioned that you are making wine and distilling. And he says, how are you wearing two hats? A winemaker. He was apparently a winemaker, and he was forbidden from distilling non-grape anything. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, so there's two different licenses, at least here in Colorado, and also the TTB, which is federally regulated. Winery and distillery are two different licenses, and you just have to have a wall. In Colorado, you have to have a wall between the two facilities. So we have a wall between the two facilities, and we just buy the wash from the brewery for our distilled spirits. So essentially, you could do the same thing with a winery. I'm no lawyer, so don't take my exact advice on that. But essentially, you could,
DYOR. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a weird system. There's basically this abstraction in the space, in the alcohol compliance space, that you're not supposed to hold more than one of these kind of vertical or horizontal licenses. So if you're a distillery, you're not supposed to also be a brewery, but there are appeals and exceptions. And you can, if you're a distiller and your wife is a retailer, you can marry each other, or your fiance is a distiller, you can marry each other, and you guys still don't have to absolve your licenses. If you look at like the Gallo Empire and the Franzi Empire and some of these, big, huge brand empires hold this. It's, they build the right curtains. It's like kind of any other sector in the world where there's the rules, and then like, how to lobby around different elements of other rules, which is, again, they're these archaic, kind of old, 100-year-old rigid notions. And it's great to see, how, we're excited to see kind of how it will get to evolve, because I think blockchain is going to put a lot of pressure for that evolution, because there's a lot of kind of intuitive considerations that are going to come into question that really haven't been able to be raised.
Just to touch on that a little further, there's a really interesting observation that we've been making in the last couple months here, just like talking to people like Zach, talking to people like Charlotte with Mondavi Winery. We've connected with some other people in the space, just like what the dynamics look like with players in the space right now. It's either really large brands like Budweiser, who have been around for a long time, who did an NFT drop, or it's people like us who are, small shops trying to navigate the waters here and are seeing this technology and saying this is incredibly meaningful for how it will actually change this pretty archaic industry, honestly. And so it's weird where you have this, like, these guys up here and then all of us on this playing field just saying, like, what could you do? How could you switch the whole game up here? Because it's ripe to be disrupted, in our opinion.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I mean, I was going to go to a different question, so keep going.
We're really excited, kind of being entrenched, we're passionately running our distillery here, to say, okay, like, there's new ways to connect, but there's also people, few of them, but who are also see this vision, see building this out. I'm amazed that, Zach and I and Mike are sitting here building this out in spirits, and it's not built out in every apparel line, in every watch company, in every, coffee, every one of them. Like, if I'm buying a designer t-shirt, like right now, how hard would it be to put a QR code with a digital asset on it? It's a little bit of solidity contract and building, but, and the reality is that wasn't possible or easy 6 months ago, but it's going to be, building a website on Squarespace equivalent next June, so it's like, and that's where's this going? Again, you have huge brands coming into the space right now, and because they also see, this is how advertising, this is how engagement, this is how it's all going, like, and so to be able to build this in this kind of rigid, sticky space of alcohol, it's we're here anyways. We're excited to see, how we can move the needle.
It's crazy exciting. I like how it's kind of taking over everything, and it's starting to become like what we've been preaching for a long time, but like it's actually happening. So we haven't been entirely insane the last few years going like, it's going to be like the internet. Everything is going to touch it. And everyone's like, yeah, bro. Okay. But now it seems to actually be happening, which is pretty great. Mandy is asking a pretty great question, and she targeted Mike because, Mike, you were talking about not having sort of a background in engineering. So she said, I'm curious about how you've sort of gotten into the space without a background in engineering. She'd like to be involved as an entrepreneur, but she's not a techie. So do you have any sort of words of wisdom? I've got a lot of thoughts here. But...
Yeah, absolutely. And feel free to jump in on this as well. But I think it's really a wall that I think should be broken down, because not everyone in this space by any means is a solidity dev. Not everyone's sitting here in front of a computer writing code by any means. A huge part of the people in the space are people working on building community, people working on marketing, people working on really. And so really my past gig, what I would do is we'd work with these big tech companies or work with these companies who had these crazy outlandish projects, who their development team would write, here's what it is. And our job would be, how do you turn that into something that you and I can understand, that we get, and we get excited about it? Because when they write it, they're going to write it in, operator engineer language, and no one's going to understand it. They're going to say, on to the next, I'm on to go do something else, not a chance. So my background has really been, how do you take that language and turn it into something that people actually get and resonate with and get excited about when they see a project like, name one in this space, where you can actually, as kind of an everyday person, like gravitate and catch onto an idea and say, I get that, and I'm excited about it because of this. And so that's really been how I've approached it, to say, I have, a decent enough understanding of this whole space. But again, I certainly don't sit here and write code. There's plenty of it I don't understand. But there's a lot of stuff that I can sit here and say, I can take your, what you're trying to break down and turn it into something that at least most people can understand, is my hope. So I think, if someone's looking at trying to come into the space and figure out where do you put a shoe in, I'd say first just start by being involved. Just be involved in conversations, be involved in communities, because they're happening. It happens everywhere. Twitter Spaces has been one of our favorite places to hang out lately. Just amazing conversations that happen every day. And then just start to look at those. What are those pillars that are outside of kind of a code language? If it's community building, if it's marketing, if it's content writing, if it's managing teams. Some people are just really good at just being an operator and helping everyone else organize what they need to do. So I think there's more than 10 ways that you could definitely get involved outside of just being someone who's working on the back end.
And to add to that, reach out and ask questions. I mean, Zach knows for sure, coming from alcohol, distilled spirits, beer, it's, it is one of the most, competitive consumer packaged goods in the world. You're traditionally speaking, the Budweisers and the Constellations and the AB InBevs aren't helping you out. They're reporting you for, not knowing this rule or that rule, where it's totally, we're so early in this space still, that everyone is really here to help each other. Everyone, if you spend any time in the space, you realize it's so early that everyone will be benefited by the building of the necessary infrastructure. And, with that regulation that isn't here also, but really it's been our experience, anyways, that this is like being blockchain enthusiasts, that NFTs and this, it's the crypto community experience, and it's powerful. And it is, half of the value of NFTs in general. It's this new type of way to interact, this new, here we are, we get to build new dynamic layers of possible. It's a cool space. Jump in, reach out, people. There's like 1 million people who were major OpenSea users in the world, like 2 months ago.
I made the joke about you guys being in the space after being scientists, essentially, and my friend building Pooptopia and stuff. But it is kind of cool. Like, we are in a space where people kind of get to choose what they work on. So if you have an idea, you have something awesome you want to do, there's probably other people who think it's awesome and they'll want to participate. And what's kind of crazy and cool about it is that most of the people that are in the space doing it for those reasons are not chasing after a big paycheck, because they probably could or they might be sitting in their cubicle working their full-time job while goofing around with this stuff too. I joked that, I never worked so hard on my startup as when I was sitting in a cubicle getting paid by somebody else. But it's just kind of how that stuff goes sometimes. And you can look around and find people, but if you're intimidated, not knowing, the dev stuff, not knowing the technical stuff, what I will say is experimenting for a few months in the space will get you to the knowledge base of like top 10 percentile of all human beings in the world when it comes to blockchain. So you will be first in line for a job, or you'll find jobs in the space. I think Anne, one of the community members, posted earlier in the chat that her company is hiring, and there are job boards just for people interested in this space. So there's definitely tons and tons of opportunities, and hang out after the event. I'll throw the thing up one more time because we're at the end and I'm gonna ask people for plugs in a sec. I met John and Mike at these tables. I met Adele, who is one of our portfolio companies at DGH and good friends of ours now, at the tables. I met some of the Boring Stone guys, and we did that campaign at these tables. Like, I've met companies and made investments because we hang out every Tuesday night and we're just here. Like, showing up is like 90% of the battle for almost anything, and being persistent. And I've made a lot of great friends in the space just by doing that and hanging out. And, and everyone knows I've been insanely conservative when it comes to events and COVID shit. And I've pretty much not gone to a real work event like in person in 2 years, which is insane. But I've probably accomplished more than most people for that 2-year span before COVID, including myself, right? Like, because everything is digital, everything is global, and you don't necessarily have to be an engineer to do it, which is really, really awesome. And it doesn't matter where you are anymore. It doesn't matter. I know there's a whole awesome debate about raising money from VCs in the chat right now. I have so many things to say about it, but we're nearing the end of time. But I will say, I think Jim and Dan and some of you who are saying that BB Studios is wrong, I think you guys are wrong. I think BB Studios is totally right. I think that there are opportunities. The big debate, so for people who are watching and not seeing the chat, I should probably clear up. The big debate is that like VC and raising money from venture capital is like a crony game, and you have to be a part of the club and you have to know them. You have to basically be rich before you go, and it's not really like a game for everybody. And everybody else is saying, oh no, I grew up poor and I still raised millions of dollars from VCs, which is true. But I think you're an exception to the rule, because having now been in it myself, and I kind of went from being an entrepreneur to then getting to work at one of the VCs who invested in my company. And I wasn't a part of that club. I didn't go to Stanford, whatever. So I'm an exception also. But you know, there's opportunities for people who maybe aren't a part of that club, but you have to know that club exists. Right? So you have to kind of know that Sand Hill Road is a thing, and what the hell Sand Hill Road is. And that's the street in San Jose, or not San Jose, in Silicon Valley, where all of the VCs have their offices. And you have to know to go there. You have to know to make appointments with those VCs. And it's intimidating as fuck. You don't know if you don't know it exists, you don't know it exists. You don't know the opportunities. So there is this spectrum. Yes, those groups will meet with a lot of people, almost every Menlo Park, yes. And they'll meet with almost everybody, but like, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance when you meet with them if you don't have a connection to them already. If you didn't go to Stanford or Yale or one of those kind of schools, right? If you went to Cal State Channel Islands and barely got graduated like me, you have no connection to these people, right? And I had to kind of manufacture connections by going, oh, you know, my uncle worked at this thing, you might know a guy, and 99% didn't know. So I had a 1 in 1,000 chance. If I went like, yeah, I was with your son at Stanford on the rowing team, you'd have a 1 in 5% chance, like 1 in 5 chance they would invest in you, right? Like the odds just dramatically increase. So both of you are right, but I think it's a major, major uphill battle if you aren't a part of that crew, and especially if you weren't like from California, or if you're out of the United States, then it's just completely a whole different thing, right? So I think you're all right. But okay, guys, we're like out of time. But I want you guys to give everyone and we love you too. But hop into meet.blockchainbooze.io and hang out with the rest of the crew. Share the one spot you want everyone to go. Oh, Mike, did you just share that? Is this the Discord for?
Yeah, I just dropped a Discord link. If I can't see the chat, I just tried to.
Oh yeah, here.
The screen, but
this is the Discord link for Spirit Punks.
For Spirit Punks. So we want to make sure we can get our whole blockchain and booze community on the whitelist for the first drop we're going to do in a few weeks here. So jump in, first 500 people in there. We're
when are you doing the first drop?
Plan is for mid to end of February. We're going to do kind of the announcement reveal
all right.
towards the end of the week or early next week. So
try to get me details in time for episode 100 of Blockchain Booze. Maybe we could do a giveaway or something fun.
Let's do
peer pressure on you guys to send some shit. You know what I'm going to do also? I think we need to find the people who have Sailor Gary. Okay, I'm not going to tell anybody this other than whoever's watching right now. If you have a Sailor Gary cover, where is it? Sailor Gary cover of Boring Stone, I will personally buy one of the NFTs and just randomly drop it to somebody holding a Sailor Gary, because I think that would just be super funny and rad.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so do you have a website up yet for it, or that's the
no website's coming soon? It'll be on the Twitter.
Oh, there's John hold on, do that again, John.
He's
Sailor Gary is on every bottle, right? Hold on, how do I do that? Oh, there it is. Boom.
He also loves the dogs. There's his Twitter right there. If you guys hold your shaking hand here.
I want to see if that works. Hold on one second. I'm holding my my thing. It didn't really work. Doesn't matter. Cool. Sailor Gary, look him up.
But
Zach,
no,
where's the
website
best
will
place
be up
to
soon.
reach you?
Check out the Twitter is @spiritpunks_ and John's little handle right there. That's where all the info is to follow.
Check out Spirit Punks. Sailor Gary also. You can catch him a couple nights a week just ranting with friends on hashtag late night DGens on Twitter Spaces. So check him out there. Just talking with some fun friends about life, NFTs, occasional alpha.
Love it. And Zach, where's the best place to follow you and where to follow Liquid Craft? Rachel's sharing it in the chat also.
Oh, sweet. So like this, there's so much to talk about. I just really want everybody to engage to the community. Ours, John and Mike's community, like there's so much going on constantly. You could talk about this for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I didn't say like even an eighth of what I wanted to say by any means. So just keep engaging with us, because I tell you that we're so freaking early that it hurts. And it's so fun to be part of this. So be part of it. It doesn't matter if it's with Liquid Craft or if it's with Premium, anything like this is awesome place to be. And I know you all are part of that and everything, but
we need to do we will do a booze follow-up in a few weeks or something. We'll have you guys back. I want to keep hearing about it. And I'm going to participate in Liquid Craft too. And we'll have some fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So go mint one of our D&B series at liquidcraft.io. It'd be awesome to be part of the community here too. So
awesome. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. You'll all definitely be back again. I appreciate you all, and I'm so stoked you guys are here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Zach.